Hey, what's up? It's your girl Neek, and you're tuned in to Neek at Night. And tonight we're going to be talking about Amanda Seales and the L she is taking across social media. If you guys don't know who Amanda Seales is, she started out with her acting career with My Brother and Me. And then she transformed and she changed her name into Amanda Diva. She used to have like this web series on YouTube. She went by Amanda Diva. Then she transitioned into comedy. She rebranded herself, changed her name to Amanda Seales, started doing comedy, started being back on shows, and now she's on Insecure. And it has been a roller coaster ride for Miss Amanda in the past weeks. So there was an Emmy's party, and it was dedicated to Black Hollywood, and it was supposed to be for, a space for Black actors and actresses and, things like that to celebrate them. When she went to the Emmy party, she made a big fuss about it because she said she was kicked out by this white woman, and she named like this white woman, this white guy, and she made it like a race issue, and she was saying pretty much how, you make it so far and you think that you are allotted to be in these spaces, but you're really not. I'm going to play you guys those videos and then I'll be back.
For the record, I am being denied entrance to the Black People's Emmy Party. And it's a white woman telling me I can't go in. I just want to put this on record that I'm literally being told you cannot get entrance into a party that Jesse Williams invited me to, that is the only Black event for the Emmy weekend, because a white woman is telling me I can't get in. But I'm fine.
So this is security escorting me out of the Black Emmy Party. That's what's happening. I am not being granted entrance to the Black Emmy Party in Hollywood. This is Jay, this is security, and I am being escorted out of the Black Emmy Party.
This is just to remind y'all that, like, it really doesn't matter, like, how hard you work or how good of a person you are. Like, you just gonna be in some bullshit. Like, security guards were asked to come and remove me from a party that is supposed to honor Black people at the Emmys. And it was a white woman named Kiara who made it her business to do this. It's just... Ooh, I'm not gonna cry though. I'm not gonna cry. I'm honestly shaking. I'm so disturbed. But you know what? I'll be on TV.
Okay, so then she came back after this, like, it died down a little bit. She decided to go on her podcast. Her podcast is called Small Doses, and she decided to explain the true tea on who really kicked her out. Now, she revealed that it was Issa Rae's publicist that was the one who was not effing with her. And it was Issa Rae's publicist who was actually the person who created the event. When she first talked about it, she talked about how, she was invited. And it turns out she was not invited by the person who had the event. She was invited by somebody who was invited to the event. So I'm going to play some of her podcast to let you guys hear her describing it, and we're gonna have a listen right now.
Issa Rae's publicist, Vanessa Anderson of AMPR, and some other people, they started doing a Black Emmy Party. So it's basically like to celebrate like Black Hollywood and, just give us a space to come and celebrate after we do the hobnob at like the HBO party, the Comedy Central party, etc., etc. So when I arrived at the party last year, I came with Jill Scott. And of course, I work with Issa. So Vanessa is somebody who I have absolutely like met before, like when I had my web series on Issa's channel on YouTube. And I have interacted with her, on a few occasions, but she has never been nice to me ever. Like, she's always had a certain like curtness, and she's always seemed to be bothered simply by just like my demeanor, my way of communicating with her, etc. And at a certain point, it just became, well, then this is just not somebody I need to speak to, because I don't work for her and she doesn't work for me. The girl at the door asks for Kendrick's name, and he has a +1, so I'm his +1. And then she asks for Kiki's name, and Kiki's like telling her name, and she just writes it in her phone and is like, okay. So we're about to walk in, and then a white woman who has a clipboard, who had not been at the rope but was in the front area, all of a sudden turns around and points at me and says, no, she cannot go in. She's not on the list. She's not on the list. Now, I had seen Vanessa come outside to the front and have a conversation with her, but I didn't think anything of it. I mean, it is Vanessa's party. Why wouldn't she come and speak to the person at the door? But it was interesting that this was happening because it seemed like an echo of the year before. And so Kendrick was like, I don't understand. And this girl was like, no, she cannot come in. She is not on the list. She is not on the list. And the security guards were like, yeah, I don't know what that's about. And they were like, no. So Kendrick was like, let me go find Vanessa. So he leaves.
I'm there for 10 minutes and I'm like, you know what, Kiki, let's roll. So we about to leave and we go stand outside by the curb to wait for my car. And this other guy comes up, Janet Jackson's manager, and he's like, hey, what are you doing out here? And I was like, they won't let us into the party. He's like, what? That's crazy. I got you. So he comes and takes us to the rope and he's like, you know, this is Amanda Seales. And the girl's like, no, she's not on the list. She's not on the list. And he's like, but what? I mean, can we put her on the list? Like, she should be in here. She is what this is about. And I thank Joey for even extending himself to that. And she was just adamant. So then Elijah Kelly comes out. And Elijah Kelly is like, yo, why are you out here? And I'm like, because they're not letting me in. And at this point, I've already Instagrammed the fact that, like, a white woman is at the door preventing me from getting into the Black Emmy party. But, you know, what is going on? And now I'm starting to get, like, irritated by it because I'm like, this is just foolish. Like, I'm clearly being targeted here and I don't know why. Like, what is the actual reason behind this? And so what ends up happening is Elijah's like, you know what? They're not gonna kick me out of the party, so come on in. So he welcomes me in, and as I'm coming in, the white girl is like, her name is Kiera. She's like, she cannot go in. She cannot go in. And I was like, girl, stop. And I just wave her off and I kept walking. So I walk in and I go to the bar. Kiki goes to the bathroom. By the time Kiki has come back from the bathroom, a security guard is talking to me. And a security guard says to me, hello, miss. We have been asked to escort you out. I've been asked to escort you out. I'm like, well, who asked you to escort me out? And he said, let me find out. So he gets on his phone and he says, Vanessa. I said, well, then you need to find Vanessa. Because I need to speak to Vanessa and I need to find out from Vanessa why I'm being escorted out.
Okay, so that's a snippet of her talking about the incident in a nutshell. Basically, the party was a party that was made by Issa Rae's publicist. The publicist is the one who put the party on for Black Hollywood. And clearly she ain't feeling Amanda Seales and did not want her at the party and had her escorted out. And Amanda feels like this is something that needs to be broadcast and she needs to, you know, let the world know how she was done in this situation. She also talked about how at this very same event last year, the same thing happened before where, you know, the publicist kind of was like, you know, girl, I ain't got time to deal with you right now type of thing, and went about her business and didn't really mess with Amanda. So fast forward to this year, she actually got escorted out and homegirl don't really mess with her like that. Okay, so after that, Madame Noir put up a post about this and one of the cast members on Insecure replied to that and basically said that she isn't very much a nice person for her to think that people want to party with her. Let me read what he said. He said, you can't be a disrespectful ass human being and expect people to want to hang out with you. It's quite simple. Sit it out. So that is what one of the cast members on Insecure said. She talked about how, you know, she tried to resolve this issue with Issa Rae, and Issa Rae pretty much told her in so many words, like, girl, that's not my problem.
You know, I told Issa, I was like, hey, you know, your publicist, like, she's just not being nice. Like, she's just nasty. And I don't even need her to be kind. I don't need her kindness, but just have a certain layer of civility with me, you know? And Issa was like, yeah, I mean, that's just between y'all, you know, because this is her party. So it's not really like my jurisdiction to tell her how to treat you at her party. Okay. So I left it at that.
So I think it's safe to say at this point that the people who are on the show that she is on don't really F with her. It's apparent that Issa Rae's publicist does not F with her. And it's clear by Issa Rae's response that Issa Rae really doesn't F with her and that she just looks at her, so to speak, as a colleague. Being that it is her show, I would kind of think that she would want to like keep the peace or whatever between like, you know, people who are working around like, Issa Rae publicist works for her. She doesn't work for Amanda, but I'm sure they're in the same vicinity, same area. I would assume that she would want to keep the peace with one of her colleagues on her show. But hey, I guess if she don't F with her, she really don't care. It's just the show, somebody she chose. I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think about it. But before I end the video, I'm going to show you what people on Twitter feel about it.
There was a lot of people who chimed in on Amanda's behavior, a lot of people who encountered her personally, and a lot of people felt like she is a nasty person. They don't like her attitude. And, you know, there was a lot of people who dragged her for feeling a sense of entitlement to a party that she was not invited to by the actual person throwing the party. She was invited by somebody who was invited, like she was a +1 of somebody, but she wasn't invited by the actual person that actually threw the party. One person said, Amanda Seales is a bitter, toxic woman who got ran out of NYC for her attitude. She moved to LA and changed nothing. And I befriended her when she came. She said I faked my cancer. F her, and I hope karma catches her before I do. Another person said, so here's the thing. Many of us in LA have interacted with Amanda. She's really not a nice person. She talks down to damn near everybody if she feels you're not above her. She's rude and has a really bad attitude, so people not standing up for her makes total sense. And here are a couple of other responses that were underneath the post. You can pause them and read them, and then I'll be back to share with you guys how Amanda felt about people claiming that she is a difficult and mean person. Okay, so that's a few of the responses. Like, people felt like she was out of line for feeling entitled, and people who actually encountered her said that she was a mean girl. Well, Amanda decided to clap back and reply to that, and this is what she had to say.
I guess what fascinates me is the excitement of people to be like, she must be a bitch. She's got to be a bitch. If everybody's saying she's a bitch, then she must be a bitch. I think that's fascinating to me because I don't know what value that has in their lives. I think that's what trips me out about it. Because I'm not fucking with Trump. I'm not degrading black folks. I'm not out here being a Fox News commentator. Like, people legit don't like me. One, because there's a lot of people don't like me because I just really don't care about their fake phony shit, and I don't keep up appearances to make them feel like their fake phony shit is not noticed. Two, on an internet scale, people just don't like me because a lot of times they literally just are misinterpreting shit that I say. And then three, people don't like me because of their own shit. Four, there's a bonus. Some people don't like me because of an interaction we had. I could have had a bad day. I could have just been stank that day. Or, more often than not, they did some fuck shit and I called them out on it. Nonetheless, it is fascinating to watch people so enthusiastic about your downfall when you have dedicated your whole life to the upliftment of them. Truly, it's like a paradoxical thing to witness. And I'm a sensitive person. But more importantly, I'm an intellectual. And so at this point, I'm just looking at it like, well, she must be a bitch. All these people can't be wrong. Okay, so then what? So then what? So now we have established Amanda Seales is a bitch. Now what? See, the thing is, I know who I am, and I know I'm not a bitch. A bitch is somebody who mean for no fucking reason. If I'm staying 9 times out of 10, there's a reason. You may not be the reason. The reason might be my mood. The reason might be some shit I'm going through. The reason might be the person. But there's always a reason. There's always something behind my ire. Nonetheless, when people say things like, if everybody is saying she's like this, then that must be what it is and she need to change. I think that you reach a certain point in your life where you're like, first of all, everybody don't think I'm a bitch. And I'm a quality over quantity kind of person. And I think that we can all agree that there's way more trash ass people in this world than there are quality people. And the quality people be fucking with me. They do. They be fucking with me heavy. And a lot of the times I have experienced my entire life people who have created these opinions and then they come back later. But really the whole point of me talking about this is just addressing the sometimes you got to take yourself outside of things and you just look at it from the outside and you're like, wow, this was what people spent their day doing, discussing my existence. And I don't know if that has any bearing on their support of my work or not, but it was just something that was interesting to them. And that is fascinating to me in a very real way. Fascinating. But for the record, I am not a bitch unless you bitch made. But I'm fine.
Okay, so that's her pretty much, in a nutshell, summarizing the backlash that she received after going and telling the people what actually happened play by play at the Emmy party, and people coming forward to say that she's not so much of a nice person. Her response kind of, I don't know. I mean, everybody has a unique attitude. I know I have a unique attitude, so hey. It is what it is, to each its own. But you guys let me know what you think down below.
All right, guys, that's all for this video. Stay tuned for more celebrity news and gossip. But in order to do that, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button right now. Don't wait. Do it right now. All right, guys.